how can men go from this? To find out how, I studied some great men, some great warriors through history to understand their secrets, and what I found out was shocking. The key things I needed to find out was during history which key habits and what key herbs were used to facilitate greatness, and how can men apply this today. The Vikings were a group of people from the Nordic countries who existed around 800 to 1000 CE. Through war, conquest and travels, they expanded their influence to many different parts of Europe.
In open longboats, they crossed the vast ocean and discovered faraway lands long before other Europeans. During that time, the Vikings amassed wealth, power, and territory.
The Vikings were known for their fearlessness, their efficiency, their successes, and for them, their reputation really mattered. It was said that they feared one more thing than dying in battle, and that was to die without a good reputation. They operated with key principles that all men should follow today, and for some reason, we are losing these key principles in this microwave generation. And one of these key principles is bravery.
And many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth.
I have a theory that the older we get, the less brave we become. The fear of losing becomes higher than the pleasure of winning, and life tends to beat the warrior out of most men, and they become so docile, so soft. And there are many apps that cater to people who aren't brave. Dating apps allow people to hide their bravery or their lack of bravery behind screens. It's not that these dating apps are bad, but if you're using these apps as a mask for your inability to be brave, you need to learn from the Vikings. Whatever you fear the most, whatever makes you the most nervous, is what you have to do to grow. The next principle they had was self-reliance and independence. Vikings believed that depending on others for your livelihood was dangerous, and today it's more important because many of us depend on external validation for our sense of self, for our confidence, and that needs to stop. Also, they took from the land in terms of herbs to help them conquer, to help them win. Historic text tells us that the Vikings were high on hallucinogenic herbal tea that made them super aggressive and less likely to feel pain as they ran naked into battle.
These shock troops exhibited a trance-like state, induced by hallucinogenic substances. Their uncontrollable aggression, marked by roars and unpredictable behavior, struck terror into the hearts of enemies.
For example, they used a plant called stinking herbane which contained hallucinogenics. And today there are some safer plants that can be used to help reduce pain and increase confidence due to its testosterone benefits. And haritaki is one of these plants. It's been used for millennia in Ayurvedic medicine, and it's a herb known to help increase people's pain threshold, and also it helps boost stamina and virility. The ability to assert oneself is the energy of aggressiveness that's channeled. And there's a lesson here. Higher testosterone men are known for being more assertive, for being more confident, and we know that testosterone levels on average are decreasing in men compared to previous generations. So learning from the Vikings, herbs that can have an impact on aggressiveness and testosterone can be key. Key herbs such as ginseng and key herbs such as maca root. But one key herb that was used by the Vikings for all of these benefits was rhodiola rosea. And rhodiola rosea was used by the ancient Viking warriors to improve their strength and improve their stamina. It's a powerful adaptogenic herb that combats fatigue, helps increase mental clarity, it helps boost physical endurance. And that's why rhodiola rosea made it into the 4 herbs all men must have. That's a great watch, and it's on 30k, so thank you and welcome all the new subscribers. To reintroduce myself, I'm Otote, certified herbalist and nutritionist. On this channel we discuss key ways from history and the present to help the man them level up to be the best we can be. So a very huge welcome to every new subscriber, and if you're new, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We're going to use history in the present to level up. Let's go. Ancient Spartans have been held up as an unmatched warrior city-state. They trained warriors from boys to men with the goal of fighting.
Spartans! What is your profession?
And because of this, they developed into a leading military force in ancient Greece. The most famous Spartan king was Leonidas, and he was famous for leading the Greek army against Xerxes and his Persian army with just 300 men, 300 warriors. And this was popularized in the movie 300. Many of you guys have seen 300. But there were other great warriors from this time too, such as Poseidon, and he was known as a successful general, and his victories against the Athenians helped change the course of history, the course of the war in Spartans' favor. One thing is, when we remember history, we remember the large figureheads, but what we forget is the historic people, the rules, the dynamics and the habits that made these groups formidable. And one of the key principles of Sparta was discipline and self-control. With way more distractions today, it's harder for men to be disciplined and practice self-control. And this was the cornerstones of the Spartans' existence. As children in Sparta, boys entered a program called agoge, and this was to teach them to control their desires, to practice self-restraint, and to prioritize the group goals, the communal goals, over personal comforts. And these are some principles that we must learn today to achieve any sort of success. Other key principles they practiced was minimalism, being mentally fit, physically fit, and brotherhood, community, collaboration. Many of us today are isolated, hence why sometimes the gang stuff becomes more appealing, is because we need to be more connected. And that's what this community is about. We are coming back together to reclaim that sense of brotherhood, to make shit happen in real life. To help with these goals, yes, there was mental and physical training, but the Spartans were also known for their use of herbs and medicinal plants. They used herbs such as ironworth, known as mountain tea, to enhance their physical performance and recover from battle, especially physical exhaustion.
In the new Netflix documentary Live to 100, Greek mountain tea is mentioned to be a blue zone's secret to longevity.
They used a plant called yarrow to help heal wounds. They used valerian for calming the mind, reducing anxiety, and to help them sleep better, as rest was always a key part of war, the ability to switch off or let others take the front line while you'd step to the back. Now we are in West Africa, which housed the Benin Kingdom.
The ancient Benin Empire and its great walls. The Benin Empire, established by the Edo people, was a prosperous ancient African state.
This was an advanced civilization, also responsible for the Great Wall of Benin.
Were you aware that the greatest single man-made structure ever built resides in Africa, and it's not the Great Pyramid of Giza? Ranging in height from 3 to 20 meters, the Wall of Benin, also known as the Great Wall of Africa, stretched for almost 10,000 miles in length, making it in its entirety long enough to extend around the perimeter of the USA.
The Benin Kingdom went to war with the British in 1897, and it was said that during this war is when the British looted the Benin bronzes, and these advanced arts made from bronzes can still be seen in the British Museum till this day.
A mask to be hung from the neck of an important chief, an intricately carved wooden paddle, a cast brass cockerel, some of the finest artistic creations of the historic kingdom of Benin.
Picture the mind of the people who can create these art pieces, who can create the Great Benin Wall. These are the minds of people that we need to be learning from today. The kingdom of Benin had certain principles that guided men, and to some extent, as a descendant of the Benin Kingdom, I still follow till today. These include loyalty and dedication. Me personally, I put it all into everything that I do. They also had the principle of bravery and courage. The Benin warriors were expected to never back down in the face of adversity. They believed that one's honor is gained through courage and perseverance, and this today should still be important for a majority of men. That whole vibe that there's nobody greater than you, you can do anything you put your mind to, and they believe that you must face challenges head on to survive. Honor, integrity, fairness, all of these things mattered, and the Benin Kingdom managed to achieve a lot of success, and it's because of these principles, their practices, and some of the herbs that they used to get them mentally and physically fit. Herbs that still can be used and is used till this day. The men of the Benin Kingdom use herbs such as bitter leaf, and the Caribbeans will know this as cerasee tea or cerasee leaf, and this herb was used to help with fatigue and provide energy for long campaigns and long battles. It was also used to help treat malaria, which means it's good for the immune system. They also used baobab. Many of us now are familiar with the oil for the skin, but it's highly nutritious, and warriors used it for its vitamin C and impacts on the immune system. And lastly, men of the Benin Kingdom used the kola nut, which some of you guys are familiar with, the nut or the leaf. They used it to help boost energy, boost focus and stamina before battle. You chew on the seed, and we use the kola nut till today during weddings. So Edo weddings will use the kola nut as a ritual for the weddings. All of these are key principles and herbs that have been used in history to help level up. In the description, I'm going to put what my top 5 is from this, so go check it out and go click on my face and get my herb course. It's beneficial. And before you go, check out this video over here on herbs and war. Powerful video, one of my best / favorite videos so far. Peace out, guys. See you soon.